In what may be one of the most consequential interviews in this political midterm season, Kanye West has dubbed Joe Biden effing retarded. It is deeply offensive and shocking, so much so that these news outlets bleeped and asterisked out the word retarded. You're not supposed to call people that word. It is deeply offensive. But the reason I say that this is possibly one of the most consequential interviews in the midterms is that, well, look, Kanye West has entered the political fray for some time now, and he is extremely influential. He's moving to buy Parler. He's buying it. This will have an impact. Now, the media is going after him like crazy. One thing Kanye West points out is that they never refer to him as a billionaire. They always call him a rapper. And I'm like, Kanye's right. Dude's a billionaire who runs multiple companies that generates ridiculous amounts of money. Rap is just one thing he does. He is a rich, powerful, influential individual, celebrity, all of these things. Now, he said other offensive things, but look, when you've got FU money, you can basically say whatever you want. Kanye West says he does not regret his anti-Semitic tirade, brands Biden effing retarded for not meeting Elon Musk, and excuses his foul language because he has, quote, mental health issues before storming out of explosive interview. Now, I got a lot of respect for Kanye. I really do. He's a smart guy. They say he's crazy. They say he's got mental health issues. He says something similar, but I don't think he's crazy. I think everybody has varying degrees of, issues, I suppose. Most people are rather, average, right? I think that being said, Kanye is a bit more eccentric and probably does have mental health issues, but not crazy. Like, what I mean is he's lucid and logical. He may say bad things. He may be a loose cannon. That may be a result of mental health issues. But I think the dude has a logic behind what he's saying. However, I think when it comes to the, comments he's made about Jewish people and the Jewish mafia and all that stuff, I don't think that's an issue of being crazy. I think it's an issue of believing things that are just wrong, of having bad information. And look, he's friends with Candace Owens and the Daily Wire. He needs to go hang out with them and have a conversation about, this Jewish stuff he's saying. But outside of that, this matters. Young people are going to hear what he says. When he buys Parler, he could probably move over a large portion of apolitical people to a new platform. That's bad for Twitter because it's already a very esoteric platform. He can come out and say that he thinks Joe Biden's effing retarded, and you can be offended by it. I know. Difficult word to hear for many of you. Young people are going to hear that and they're going to laugh. If anything, Kanye West speaking this way about the Democrats, as he has been, is probably a contributing factor to why we're seeing so many young black men shift away from Democrats and towards the Republican Party. Kanye likes Candace Owens. If he comes out and says she's cool, there's going to be a lot of young people who are just like, Kanye's great, man. And let's talk about this. You want to criticize Kanye West? By all means, he deserves to be criticized the same as everybody else deserves to be criticized. But call him a billionaire. Call him a genius entrepreneur. Call him eccentric. Call him whatever you want, but give him credit where credit is due. The man has done tremendous things. He is extremely, prolific in the sense that he's everywhere. He's influential. The dude certainly knows something many people do not. To ignore the influence of such a man right now as he roasts the Democrats and Joe Biden would be ignorant. Now let's talk about what's going on in the midterms. Outside of this, he's having an impact. Democrats know they don't have rising stars. And the stars they do have are about to get BTFO'd in the midterms, meaning their careers are going to get cut short. Democrats don't have a 2024 contender. They need their members of Congress who are rising in the ranks to succeed now so they can put them forward over the next 2 years in a Democrat primary. Uh-oh. The rising stars they do have, the ones who actually resonate with regular Americans, middle of the road, they're going to get wiped out. So let's talk about this. Let's break this down. Let's talk about what Kanye West said, what he means, and how it's going to affect us politically. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com to become a member and support our work directly. Our journalists are out there every day writing the news, fact-checking the news, and even field reporting. And it's only possible because you guys go to timcast.com, click the Join Us button, and sign up to become a member. As a member, you will get access to exclusive, uncensored episodes of the Timcast IRL podcast. We do that Monday through Thursday at 11 p.m. I'm not sure if we're going to have one tonight, but we might. We'll see what happens. And you'll also get to watch our other shows like the Cast Castle Vlog, Tales from the Inverted World. And more importantly, you're supporting our efforts, the videos I produce here. So don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share this video, because part of me seems that I don't know why. I kind of think YouTube is going to censor this video for some reason. So why don't you guys be the notification and share the video, and maybe we can push back on the censorship. Let's read the news. From the Daily Mail, Kanye says he does not regret his anti-Semitic tirade, brands Biden effing retarded for not meeting Elon Musk, and excuses his foul language because he has mental health issues before storming out of explosive interview. The rapper, who was being interviewed by Piers Morgan, apologized for his bad language, but excused it by saying he has mental health issues. The rapper? The billionaire. At this point, I think dude has made substantially more money off of his businesses like Yeezys than being a rapper. Also in the interview, West addressed the Jewish community after his anti-Semitic Twitter tirade and doubled down on some of his antics. Despite offering up a half-hearted apology, West, now known as Ye, said he absolutely does not regret his comments, which resulted in a huge backlash with some of his social media accounts being suspended and sponsorships canned. The apology came 2 hours into the interview, in which West mocked Morgan by calling him a Karen while offering him advice on how to become as rich as he is. Yeah, man, that's spicy. He also stormed out of the interview midway through. The Sun said, dude, Kanye, hit up your friend Candace Owens, go hang out with the Daily Wire crew. You got Ben Shapiro's right there. I'm sure they will be very polite and talk to you about this. And afterwards, you're going to be like, I totally get why I was wrong to say what I did about the Jewish community. Quote, 1% of the world are placed in power, and 99% of the world are the audience. So that 1% of the world, this idea of a United Nations, this is the world that needs to come together. Here's the obvious go-to. Biden doesn't listen to Elon Musk. The president of the United States does not have meetings with Elon Musk. That's effing, West said before gesturing to the camera, saying, here, come get me. That's effing retarded. The screen cut to interviewer Morgan, who looked confounded by West's comments and appeared to be holding back from responding. I know, I'm not supposed to say that, Biden, but that's effing retarded, Biden. West continued. And obviously, because I've been deemed with mental health, all this, I have a right to use whatever words that I like to use. Oh, heavens, bro. So look, the way it works, I guess, on YouTube, and I think what makes the most sense, I don't like people disparaging other people like that. So Kanye, I'll throw a little criticism your way. I understand saying something like that may resonate with people who don't like Joe Biden. I get it. I don't like doing stuff like that. I just really, really don't. I don't think it's going to help us win an argument. You saying that Kanye, he said it 3 times. 3 times he called Joe Biden effing retarded. I'm not a fan. I would humbly ask for tact, reasons of tact. Don't say that stuff. You know what I mean? Here's why. There's a lot of people who don't know what's going on. Kanye, they don't know what you know about the economy. They don't know what you know about Elon Musk. When you come out and say something like this, a lot of people just get taken aback and they're like, that's not an argument. If you said something like, it is ineptitude, inexperience, ignorance for a sitting president not to meet with the wealthiest man in the world to discuss what he's doing, especially when it comes to climate change and cars and all that stuff, right? You want to talk about climate change? Elon Musk is doing all that. Tesla is taken off. I see Teslas everywhere now. That's what you wanted, right? So Kanye's right, but I don't think he's delivering it right. But hey, look, man, you don't have to agree with my opinions on this one. My point is just this. Either way, that actually might end up getting more people to vote against the Democrats. I mean, it's just reality. They're going to hear Kanye say it cold and blunt. And a lot of people are going to laugh. Young men especially are going to laugh, and they're going to high-five each other, and they're probably going to vote based on this stuff, if they do. The clip did not show West elaborating on why he thought Biden should be meeting with Musk. In April, senior officials of the Biden administration held a meeting with the Tesla CEO and other major leaders of America's car industry. At another point in the interview that will air fully on Friday, Morgan challenged West over his anti-Semitic comments on Twitter. Quote, "I will say I'm sorry for the people that I hurt with the Death Con comments," Ye said on the show with the British talk show host. "I feel like I caused hurt and confusion. I'm sorry for the families of the people that had nothing to do with the trauma that I had been through, and that I used my platform where you say hurt people, I was hurt. Hurt people, hurt people." You see what he's saying? Hurt people, comma, ended up hurting people. The rapper and clothing designer said on Piers Morgan Uncensored that he was only referencing certain Jewish people who he believes have screwed him over. Def Con, they even, all right, you guys, I love this. They say less than 2 weeks ago, the rapper wrote in a tweet, "I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going DEF CON 3 on Jewish people." DEF CON, also known as Defense Readiness Condition, full stop. The Daily Mail spelled it DEAF. It's DEFCON, come on. In an alert used by the U.S. Armed Forces to indicate how quickly the military can be deployed during deadly emergencies and attacks. Ye was pressed by Morgan on whether his anti-Semitic remarks were racist, and he says they were, although at some point the rapper says it's not racism when asked about his comments. He said, "When you insult the Jewish people and you say you're going DEF CON 3, that is as racist as anything you say you've been through," Morgan said. "Racism is racism, and you know that. I think you do." I don't know if it's racism. It's anti-Semitic. And here's what I want to clarify. Because there is a point to be made. One, you got to be real careful with the anti-Semitic stuff. And I'll tell you why. There is a history around it, and that's why people are so sensitive. There's a lot of people who don't care for the special class provided to certain identities or ethnicities or races. Totally get that. My point is, words have meanings, and not all words mean the same thing to everybody. Jordan Peterson's got this viral clip going around where he's like, "If somebody says, 'Do you happen to believe in God?' I have to ask, what does 'do' mean? And you, what does 'you' mean?" And everyone's making fun of him. And I'm like, you're making fun of him because, look, I know it does sound silly. Jordan Peterson says a lot of silly things. However, there is something to be taken from what he was saying. If you said to someone, "Do you believe in God?" This phrase doesn't do enough to convey the question being asked. Because I have to talk about this. I don't have to, but I do talk about this stuff all the time. Jordan Peterson's point was that if someone says, "Do you believe in God?" the question is first, what do you mean by "do you?" Right? And I know that one is, let's just say that's getting a bit overly complicated, Dr. Peterson, that I would agree with. But believe. What do you mean by believe? Believe. What does that mean? Does it mean that you genuinely think it's there? Does it mean you think you've seen it? We can break that one down and try to better convey a meaning behind this. And God, what do you mean by God? I understand Peterson's point. Now let's take a look at this. When you say something like you're going DEF CON 3 on Jewish people, people assume you're making a comment about literally every single Jewish person. When you say there's a Jewish mafia, people think you're talking about the conspiracy. That's why I say words have meanings, and maybe what Kanye West meant isn't the same thing that the average person meant. I'll say it right now. Kanye West shouldn't say that kind of stuff. He's absolutely wrong. But is he referring to, like, if you said there was an Italian mafia, people would say, okay, they wouldn't assume you meant literally every single Italian person was part of a mafia. If you say Jewish mafia, people immediately think you're talking about a secret conspiracy among Jewish people. That's the issue. Like literally all of them. The word Jewish in front of mafia means something different to any other ethnicity, which is why I think Kanye West probably should clarify, apologize. And I think that's what he was trying to do. I also just want to point out, even if that is the case, Kanye, dude, the ethnicity of the individual has nothing to do with this. And that's why I think he's wrong to say this. You say Italian mafia, and I'm like, bro, I don't care about what country they come from. I care about the individuals. There's no reason to point out somebody's Italian, Irish, Korean, whatever, or Jewish. And that's what he said. He was basically saying, like, the people who came at him were actually, all Jewish, therefore. I'm like, nah, come on, man. And Chris Cuomo, I'll give him some credit. He actually pushed back saying, it's not that they're Jewish, they're coming after you. You can say they're corrupt business executives. But anyway, I digress. I don't want to rehash all that stuff. Although it needs to be brought up when Kanye's saying this stuff, because ultimately what happens is his Twitter gets suspended. He gets suspended on Instagram. And then dude goes and buys Parler. This is important political stuff. I'm going to give a shout out to this article from Parler. Oh, I love being part of the news, my friends. Parler was jubilant about Kanye West buying it. Then the problem started. An email to so-called VIPs for the site raised a couple questions. Among them, do the VIPs know that they're VIPs? Let me provide a comment on the matter, as I was one of the individuals. No, I didn't know I was a Parler VIP. I have not opened the Parler app in probably a couple years. I don't remember when the last time I was on it was, maybe a year plus. Don't use the app. Didn't even know they had my email, but they emailed me. They emailed me along with everybody else, and all of a sudden I'm on this email thread with like 400 people. Here's the issue here. I understand it was an accident, so I'm not going to cry about it. But there are people on this VIP list who are already emailing me pitches, proposals, and I just responded. I was like, dude, if you email me off of this gaffe, this error, with pitches, requests, proposals, newsletters, my entire company will have you blocked and we will never respond to that email address. I don't know about you. I'm just saying, do not use that as an excuse to try and get in contact, because people are. After I tweeted that, I privately got some VIPs messaging me being like, thank you for saying it. Because there's Cassandra Fairbanks is on it. I'm on it. Charlie Kirk was on it. Chicks on the right were on it. Diamond and Silk were on it. And no doubt they're all probably getting now inundated, because Parler's VIPs are not all in the same category. Some were just active accounts, and some were like politicians with government or private email addresses. Not okay. But anyway, it's a little hectic to start. But this matters. Kanye West getting banned matters because he might actually revitalize Parler. As much as many people don't want to hear it, don't want to accept it. Maybe you're on Truth Social. Truth Social's got a lot of engagement. Maybe you stay on Twitter. Maybe you're hoping Elon Musk finalizes that deal, and he probably will. And then in the end, maybe Elon Musk gets a lot of people to join Parler to have fun. We were talking about this on Timcast IRL, and I can't remember who the guest was, but they said if Black Twitter moves to Parler, Twitter is done. And I'm like, yeah, but let me tell you, dude. Black Twitter, they post jokes, they have subreddit. A lot of it's really, really insightful. A lot of it's really, really funny. If they go to Parler, they're not going to have to worry about getting censored at all. They're going to be able to make all the crazy, edgy jokes they want with no thought about it. Why would they not move to Parler and hang out with Kanye West? See, Donald Trump can only pull so much. People hate him. But Kanye? Dude, make fun of Kanye all you want. The media's trying. It ain't going to work. Kanye West is a superstar. He is... Look. History books are going to write about this man. They are going to write about the businesses he built, the songs he wrote. They already are writing about it. And these people in media are footnotes. They will be forgotten. Not Kanye. That matters. Matters a lot. And you know what? Let's get political. Democrats know it. From Politico, future Democratic stars at risk of getting wiped out in the midterms. Oh, you know it. A number of second-term House Democrats are seen as future statewide candidates within their party. Democrats elected their political future in 2018. Now that bench of potential statewide leaders could get wiped out. Here we go. The last midterm election saw a slate of Democratic rising stars roll into Congress on a wave of anti-Trump resentment and fundraising prowess built on top of that backlash. Now, with a few House terms under their belts, they are prime candidates to run statewide in the future. But first, they must survive their first election that isn't dominated by former President Donald Trump. Everyone in Michigan thinks Rep. Alyssa Slotkin will run statewide, said Jason Cable Rowe, a Republican consultant who was working for Slotkin's House opponent this year. The buzz around Mickey Sherrill is that she'll be running for governor in 2025 when the seat is set to open. Then they list a bunch of other candidates and mention are all among those frequently name-checked by operatives in their states as formidable statewide candidates for the future. In Pennsylvania, many expected Rep. Chrissy Houlihan to run for Senate this year, but she opted against it and instead remains on the radar for a future bid. They want to mention AOC, Ayanna Pressley, et cetera, et cetera. But hey, let me pause right there. People in AOC's district are protesting her. These are progressives. And what is she doing? She's dancing. She's like, tongue out like, yeah, as they're chanting, AOC has got to go. She is a vapid con artist. And it's all coming home to roost, isn't it? They say, but much of Democrats' class of 2018 is under threat, staring down a brutal midterm climate in battleground districts. Some made more difficult after redistricting, while a handful turned a shade bluer. Presidential approval ratings and historical precedents now weigh heavily against them. Instead of working in their favor as they did in 2018 when Trump was in office, It's another opportunity to prove their strength and build their political careers. But it's also a key moment that could knock many off course. Whether we're talking about me, whether we're talking about Slotkin, Houlihan, Luria, Cheryl, Charisse, Kendra, yes, I can win really hard races, and I do, said Abigail Spanberger in an interview on the sidelines of the campaign trail in Virginia. She had been speaking with voters at a brewery for nearly 2 hours, even after losing her voice. You got to rest the voice, man. As somebody who talks for a living, I can assure you, man, it is not worth it. But I'll tell you a trick. Ibuprofen. You shouldn't do it a lot. But this is the trick. You lose your voice, take some non-steroidal anti-inflammatories over the counter, follow the instructions, talk to your doctor. But it really does work. It does. Because losing your voice is caused by inflammation. Anyway, she says, and I am relentless in my campaigning. Spanberger is another oft-mentioned Democratic star who rose to viral fame. Yeah, we get it. Virginia Democrats are eager to peek around the corner of the next statewide opening, may have to wait. Both Democratic senators, Tim Kaine and Mark Warner, are in their mid-60s, but the race for governor in 2025 will likely attract a crowded primary field. Yeah. Okay, you all get it. Here's the gist of the story. Democrats have no stars. All right, name a celebrity Democrat. Go. Yep. Who'd you get? Some people like to say, I don't know, Cory Booker. Gavin Newsom, maybe. Oh, come on. They're B tier at best. The Republicans, DeSantis, Donald Trump, Kristi Noem. Come on. There's a lot of people that are popping up all over the Republican Party with name recognition and storied careers. The Democrats don't have it. They have to build that roster back up. With these rising stars about to lose in the midterms, their political careers will be over. Look at Stacey Abrams. She's probably the best the Democrats have, and she's nothing. She's a weird election-denying conspiracy theorist who just said abort the poor. That's the best they can do. Maybe Gavin Newsom. Here we go. Washington Post says Democrats discover they're not immune to the candidate quality problem. Yeah, you don't got anybody. They're all B-tier follower garbage candidates. Sorry, that's just the reality. Kanye West can be a little bit more crass than I can. I try to keep it professional, but you get the point. From the New York Times. With crucial elections looming, Biden breaks tradition of big campaign rallies. Really? President Biden's low profile on the campaign trail reflects a low approval rating that makes him unwelcome in some congressional districts and states at a pivotal moment before the midterms. The leader of the Democratic Party can't even campaign to try and help the candidates win. That's how bad it is. Here we go, baby. Early vote count surpasses ordinary midterm turnouts. It's actually way crazier in Georgia. Take a look at this. Georgia, early midterm voting surpassing the 2020 presidential election. That blew my mind. Things are gonna get spicy. The midterms are boring. Nobody cares. Look, when Timcast IRL was live covering the 2020 presidential election, we were consistently getting like 100 to 150,000 concurrent viewers. That's nuts. We were getting like 1 million plus in the ratings. Crazy. These days, we get about 40,000. Way down. It's the midterms, man. We know this. In the next couple of weeks, we'll see the ratings start going back up. Then with the presidential primaries, we're going to be in season, as we call it, for political commentary and culture shows. And then we're going to see, I'd imagine, an average of 60 to 80K for the primaries and probably back up to 100 in this presidential cycle, especially, if Donald Trump runs, it's going to be crazy in the ratings. My point is, when CNN's ratings go down, as all these networks go down, everyone's like making fun of them. But, everybody's ratings go down when people aren't paying attention to politics. That's the midterms. If the midterm voting so far is surpassing the 2020 presidential election, that says a whole lot. That says a whole lot. People are coming out to vote despite the fact that 2020 was crazier. Now, look, I still think for the most part, people aren't paying attention because it's not just about the ratings we have. I look at other people's ratings. I look at other shows and we do comparables. We have marketing and all that stuff. But something about right now, people have remained politically active and it's grown. Politics has become pop culture. We talked about this last night. We talked about the H3 podcast, Ethan Klein. I don't care to comment on commenters, but he made a comment about Ben Shapiro is just shockingly insane. And, so that it comes up. But the reason it does is because H3H3. They were just, edgy comedy, fupa, silliness. And then all of a sudden, this dude is now hosting a political podcast where he's talking about Ben Shapiro. And I'm like, why? Politics is pop culture. It's one of the reasons we're probably seeing midterm voting surpassing the presidential election. It's why we're seeing people who don't know anything about politics, war, history, policy. Why are they it's probably why we're seeing them do these political shows. This is all people care about. It's a crowded field out there for everybody, but here we go. CNN says why very high turnout is likely this midterm. Okay, Harry Enton, tell me why. He says a look at the data this cycle suggests that we're far more likely to see a repeat of 2018 and its high turnout than 2014. Let's start with the polling data. Last week, CNN SSRS poll found 20% of registered voters said they were extremely enthusiastic about voting. It's not just one poll either. They're going to mention blah, 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 blah. The fact that enthusiasm and interest levels are so close to 2018 may be somewhat surprising. After all, Donald Trump, with very strong supporters and detractors, is no longer president. Voters, though, seem to think as much is on the line now as they did back in 2018. Let me just simplify it for you, dude, because I got to admit you waste a lot of words. Joe Biden is also despised. Gas prices are through the roof. Under Trump, things weren't that bad, but people hated him for media and personal reasons. Many of these people are now realizing that they were taken for a ride, as it were. They said, Donald Trump is bad, so you know what? I'm going to vote for Joe Biden. And the reality is, Biden was actually worse. Under Donald Trump, you had mean tweets, but under Joe Biden, you have no gas. So, yeah. What do you think regular people are going to do? They're going to outright just say no. They're going to go out and vote, and they're going to vote to rectify the mistakes they made. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I could not believe it. Republicans with a 3.3 point advantage. 3.3% in aggregate. And it's only getting worse. Monmouth University has Republicans up 6 points in the generic ballot. This is not a swing district poll, my friends. This is an aggregate of the national level. That means even in AOC's district, they are seeing a swing. That's how crazy this is. We don't care about deep blue and deep red. We care about swing districts. In the swing district polling, it's way worse for Democrats. Even 538, finally now, showing Republicans with a 0.1% advantage. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. A 538. I wonder if they've got an update on their forecasts. And they do. Here we go. The other day when I covered this, they said that there was a 37 in 100 chance Republicans win. Now it's 40. It's dramatically improving. This is the Senate. That's the Senate. Take a look. I'm sorry. I got to go back. Let's take a look at the House. The House is now up to 78 in 100. It is apocalyptic. There's even a possibility. They say that Republicans win 260 seats. Now I'm going to pause for a second. And cite a great man, Tim Pool, who made a glaring error in 2018. That's the joke. I'm not really trying to brag or refer to myself in the third person. Calm down, leftists. In 2018, I said a lot of the same stuff. I said Republicans were pissed. The culture war stuff was lighting people up. They voted for Trump. Now they're going to vote to reinforce the Republicans, and they did not. They didn't. And I went, wow, I missed that one. It was in a bubble. It's probably still true to a great degree. I have my bias. I always say I do. In 2020, I was completely right about one thing. Donald Trump was seeing growing support. What I did not count on was growing opposition. Because I thought people would see through the BS. I thought people wouldn't fall for that, but people did. They really did. So we see interesting things these days. What I see now, it looks like 538, Real Clear Politics, and all the polls are showing Republicans are going to crush it. They're going to win. I don't know for sure. Democrats do have an opportunity to win. I mean, look, the 22% chance that Democrats actually take the majority. So Republicans better be on high alert. If you're a Republican and you're not going campaigning right now, don't be surprised when you lose. I'm not even playing games. And let me tell you, if you go out right now, start knocking on doors, asking people if they registered to vote and who they're planning on vote for, and talk to them about why you think it's important they vote out the Democrats. And you can simply say, look, I know there's a lot of issues. I know we're really concerned about a lot, and there's tough things here, but man, it really comes down to gas prices and jobs. We've got 25 days left in the diesel supply. It's scary stuff. We can have a conversation on all the other cultural issues, but right now, stand with me because we got to get the costs down, and you know it. And we know that Joe Biden is not going to do it. Say that. And then I'll tell you this. When you do, and then come November 8th, you see across the board Republicans win, you can then take credit for the work you did because it will be each and every one of you who made that victory possible. If you stay home, if you do nothing, when the Republicans lose and the Democrats carry on their destructive policies that are gutting this country, you can just say, I did that too. That's the harsh reality. No, let me calm down. I know not everybody can go out. All right. Some might say, Tim, why aren't you going out knocking on doors? Well, to be honest, it's because I reach 60 million people by doing this, and hopefully this has an impact and you could share these videos too. But do what you can and don't do more. Don't stress yourself. Don't break yourself. Survive. Do what you can. Do what you got to do, but stand up for what you believe and speak out. Make sure that this 78-100 is actually 100 and 100. We also got to speak out against the corrupt Republicans as well. And that's a whole lot of them. You got a handful of MAGA, America First Republicans who I think will do a good job. Those are the people you got to vote for. Kari Lake is one of the most impressive politicians I've ever met. I've had a lot of politicians on my show, Republicans, even some Democrats. And I got to tell you, the most impressive, Kari Lake, hands down. Massive respect for this woman. I think she could be president. And I think she could be president soon. She's tough. She's fearless. She sat down and said, ask anything. I mean, she didn't say that. She was just like, I'm here to talk. Have fun. We get politicians who are like, I'm really worried about this, that, or otherwise. Like, I'm not going to sit here and dance around issues so you can politic your way out of questions. Kari Lake walks and sits down and she's like, sup. And then Ian is like, what about DMT? And she's like, what is it? And he's like, dimethyltryptamine in your trip. And we're talking to a governor, a candidate for governor who's having a conversation with crazy hippie Ian and me talking about the Second Amendment does guarantee a right to nuclear weapons. Hot, crazy issues. But she's a real person who's having a real conversation and knows what she's doing and knows what she's talking about. That's what inspires me. Candidates like that. You know who doesn't? It's the McCarthys. It's McConnell. It's Lindsey Graham. Kari Lake gives me hope that the Republicans actually are going to have some good people. Far from perfect. Far from it. But the best I've seen. Ron DeSantis, I really look forward to having him on the show at some point because he's fantastic. So here's all I have to say. Kanye West, he's saying something that's going to resonate with people. Pay attention. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.